This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
Time is precious, and so are our pets. So time with our pets is extra precious. That's why we started Dutch. Dutch provides 24/7 access to licensed vets with unlimited virtual visits and follow-ups for up to 5 pets. You can message a vet at any time and schedule a video visit the same day. Our vets can even prescribe medication for many ailments, and shipping is always free. With Dutch, you'll get more time with your pets and year-round peace of mind when it comes to their vet care.
Fan.
Give a one-of-a-kind gift this Mother's Day with a spa experience at Woodhouse Spa. Check our contest page for your chance to win a $100 gift card. KFAN.com, keyword contest, enter.
Alan Horton, Radio Vox for nearly 2 decades for the Minnesota Timberwolves at Wolves Radio via X. He joins us now from Los Angeles. Game 5 at Crypto.com shortly after 9 o'clock tonight. Listen to it at FM 100.3 KFAN, and the man you will hear joins us right now. Vox, it's Paul Allen. 3-1 series lead for our favorite team. Are you just heart of hearts? Jinxes and don't exist. Are you feeling closure tonight?
You know, it's funny, PA. I get asked that a lot. Like, hey, well, how do you think tonight's game's going to go? You know, and I've sort of given up trying to predict what will happen. I don't know. I have a good feeling about the team. I think there's a confidence about the team. There's a looseness about them, but sort of a confident looseness. I think they've weathered a lot of different things the Lakers have thrown at them. And I don't know that the Lakers have much left to throw at Minnesota. I think they feel like, you know what, we've handled LeBron and Luka and Austin Reeves for 4 games now, and even when one or a couple of them can go off, they still can win the game. And I think the Wolves have a very good confidence about this heading into Game 5. Will that mean they close it out? I don't know, but you sure like the way they're playing right now.
Love that take. At Wolves Radio for Alan Horton. And I'm tripping out here, man. I should know this. Who do the Wolves play if they win this series?
So they play the winner of Golden State and Houston.
Right. Okay, cool. Thank you. Why are the Timberwolves winning every fourth quarter the way they are?
The numbers are pretty startling in fourth quarters. The Lakers have gotten outscored in all 4 quarters, and they've shot really poorly in, I would say, 3 out of the 4. And it's hard not to think that J.J. Redick relying on LeBron, Luka, just a core group of guys, that they're not wearing down the fourth quarter. And that was taken to the extreme in Game 4 when J.J. Redick did not make an entire any substitution at all for any moment, for any reason in the second half. It was unbelievable. You go all the way back to the end to about midway through the second quarter. I think there were about 4 minutes left. That's when he put that lineup out there and didn't change them again the rest of the game. 48 minutes I realize there are timeouts, there are reviews, there are ways to get some rest. LeBron can sit in the corner for a possession or 2. Luka can do the same to try to get their quote-unquote rest in game. But 48 minutes, man, it's tough not to make a substitution. It's why that game is 48 minutes. You need a bench. You need some kind of contribution. JJ rolled the dice, and I was really surprised he went that direction. I would have tried to go the other way and bring more people in, and then maybe if you get to Game 5, then you just kind of roll with your guys in the second half and use that strategy a little later in the series. But, boy, I don't know how you come back from that, because what does that tell all the guys that didn't get an opportunity in the second half? You're going to need Gabe Vincent. Dalton Connect to me is a guy that probably could. Can you throw him out there for 2 or 3 minutes and see what happens? Maybe you need a big. Alex Len is not a great starting center in this league, but he's been around. He can play some minutes, I think. I just was a little surprised JJ went that route in Game 4 to play all those guys, all those minutes.
Alan, speaking of centers, Rudy Gobert has, not only in this series but all season, had some significant trouble holding on or catching the basketball. We have not had massively big rebounding or block shot games. His scoring has been rather paltry. However, he's impacting this thing almost as much as Anthony Edwards, and some other players on the roster with his defense, right? And when it comes to exactly the way I laid it out, because you're more analytically gifted than me, what is Rudy doing that is frustrating the Lakers as much as it is?
I think he's just using his talent. I mean, this is clearly not a huge Rudy series. It's not a series where he's playing 30 to 35 minutes and doing some of the things you mentioned, like racking up 15 rebounds and finishing with 3 or 4 blocks. It's just not one of those series. But the Wolves are still winning the minutes that Rudy's on the floor. And when Rudy's on the floor, he's deterring shots in the paint. He's affecting shots at the rim. When he's the primary defender, Rudy, number 2 now, Al Horford passed him, but number 2 defensive field goal percentage. So people are just shooting 33% when Rudy's in the vicinity. He's using his size and strength, and, the Lakers don't have size to go up and over Rudy, so they're looking up at him, and it's affecting their game. And so Rudy is still being able to impact the game, despite playing fewer minutes and giving more minutes to Naz and more minutes to Julius, both guys have been really good in this series. And it's just another example of Minnesota's depth, PA. You're playing a Laker team that basically doesn't have a center. They've abandoned Jackson Hayes. They don't have anyone over 6'9" that they're playing right now. And and then you look at what the Wolves have. They have 3 options right there. They've got Julius, they've got Naz, they've got Rudy. And when something doesn't work in a series, now you've got a backup plan. Now you've got something that does work, because Naz Reid is playing unbelievably well, especially in fourth quarters. And Julius, his game is just built for the postseason. It's been startling to see how good he's been this postseason. Just because I think in regular season basketball we get caught up in pace and space and threes, and his style is a little bit different. But boy, when you need it, I thought the Wolves were going to come back and win Game 2, honestly, and did. But JJ had that nice timeout at the end of the third, leased into his team and kind of regained the momentum. But Julius was leading the Wolves back. He was the only one in that game who could get something going against that Laker defense, which is the best defense they played in the series. But Julius he's been stellar, and so has Naz and Rudy in limited minutes, still having a big impact.
Is it as simple with Luka Doncic and Rudy Gobert, and getting away from the spread the floor, watch me do my thing against this big guy? Have they gotten away from it? Is it as simple to lay it out as because it's just not working, and Luka's like 1 of 7? I think that's what you had one of several wonderful tweets, but per this tweet, Luka 1 of 7 on threes when checked by Rudy Gobert. I mean, that pretty much ended this isolation thing, right?
Yeah, it's completely gone away the last 2 games. There hasn't been a single case of Luka trying to isolate Rudy, and in the first 2 games, that's all they wanted to do. But they went to it so often, PA, as if it was it was one-sided thing. It was not. I think the Wolves were very happy. Rudy got isolated 17 times. Luka only got 13 points off of those possessions. That's anything under a point per possession. I think that favors the defense. And Luka still is, this guy is unbelievable that he's still averaging 30-plus points, and LeBron is playing just incredible basketball. But like I said, the Wolves have been able to survive those performances, and they've, a lot like they do against Jokic when they play the Nuggets, you try to cut off everybody else. And there's just not a lot of help coming for Luka or LeBron. And as that help dries up, JJ's just even shrunk the rotation even more, like I mentioned. So it's, I think it's all really feeding into the Wolves and what they want to do and how they want to attack this team.
Naz Reid, he's the closer. He just has some fourth quarter closer to him, doesn't he? Those fourth quarter threes Sunday, specifically after the rough game overall he had and looked like he was getting down on himself and stuff. Then he missed a couple of free throws. Finchie puts him back in, doesn't play the volume he played in the previous game Friday night, but he hit those threes, and he had that little baby hook too. So he's the closer, isn't he?
He has been fantastic in the 4 fourth quarters. He's missed 1 shot. He's 6 for 6 from beyond the arc, and he's got a sneaky 3 assists in there too. And on Sunday night, PA, with the Wolves down by 2 with under a minute to go, I thought they had their best clutch time offensive possession, certainly of the season, regular season and postseason, but maybe even going back a few years. And to remind fans, it's Ant dribbling. He's over by the sideline. He's running away from 2 defenders. He doesn't try to do too much. Naz flashes free in the paint. He finds Naz. Naz touches it on a bounce pass into the dunker spot to Jaden McDaniels, who goes up, scores it, and gets a foul and hits the free throw. And those three guys in particular, Ant, Nas, Jaden, they've been together here for the whole 4-year playoff run. And I'm not sure that's a play those guys all make. It's a simple play, but in that moment, to pull that out and just have it be natural, I thought it was one of the best offensive possessions the Wolves have had in clutch time in years. And I don't know if those guys make that play 2-3 seasons ago. It was just remarkable to see, and it was a huge play because that game was very much in the balance down the stretch. And those guys all, one of the things we've always talked about is, Ant trying to do too much. I mean, he gets the hockey assist on there, and he was the happiest guy, right? It doesn't show up in the box score. And Nas just making that simple play, and Jaden able to catch it, finish it, and then focus on the free throw. The Wolves, that was the game-winning points because they didn't relinquish the lead after that. I thought that was a huge play that really typified how the Wolves have come together in clutch time, which was one of the big issues heading into the postseason.
Alan, we have seen you tweet about clutch time. I've heard you and Jim talk about it kind of extensively when you're together. For those who don't know what clutch time is, what is clutch time? And then there's something off a tweet of yours I want to get into with Anthony Edwards.
Yeah, so clutch time is just sort of it's a marker that helps. The NBA kind of defines it as the final 5 minutes of a game, so your fourth quarter or overtime, and the score is within 5 points. Oh. And it's sort of a marker to give you an idea of a quote-unquote close game. How are teams faring in close games? Because, half your games generally on the season come down to close games, those type of situations. So it's a way to kind of isolate how players perform down the stretch. And because if you can win your clutch time games, well, then you're going to be a good team in this league because, like I said, half your games, generally 40 to 45 of your games are going to go into that kind of designated time period. And the Wolves have been really good in clutch time under Chris Finch until this season when they ranked 24th in win percentage. And their offense wasn't great. And their defense wasn't great. But, they seem to have learned from some of their mistakes, and now their clutch time play has been sensational in this series, and they've been better than the Lakers in the games. I guess the first two games don't really qualify as clutch time because the Wolves kind of cruised in game one, Lakers cruised in game two. But the last two games, you got to execute down the stretch, and the Wolves did, and now they're up 3-1.
Anthony Edwards qualifies for 13 of those games with 44 points on 58% shooting, 4 of 7 from 3, 12 of 12 from the line, 8 assists, just 2 turnovers, and is a plus 22 during clutch time in those 13 games. I mean, the clutch of all clutch ever to clutch took place Sunday for Anthony, in my opinion, because it's so much of the focus goes on old people get tired. LeBron's 40, played like 37 minutes. Hefty people get tired. Luka's hefty, maybe he got tired and it impacts the vertical. Anthony's young and spry and he's not hefty and he had to be tired at the end of that Sunday game. Yet what he was able to do with his ball handling, going back and forth with the crossover, the jab step, the step back, setting somebody up while tired, that was amazing, wasn't it?
No doubt about it. And, it shouldn't be lost. A lot of the talk is about the Lakers playing the whole second half without a sub. Well, Anthony Edwards didn't come off the floor either. He played the whole second half, too. So you're right. Even someone who's is as young as Ant is at 23 and in the shape that he is in, you get tired in the fourth quarter. There's no doubt about it. And for him to come away and play as well as he had, I think that you mentioned the turnovers. That's one thing that jumps out to me about Ant's play in this postseason. He's only averaging like 1.5 turnovers per game, which I think is huge. It really sets the tone for the whole team to have low turnover games. When he's not turning it over, then Julius seems to not turn it over as well. And those are your two big ball handlers and the guys who have the ball in their hands a lot. But, Ant in clutch time, he's had his issues in the regular season, especially late in games and sort of game time, go ahead shots in the final 10 seconds, in those kind of hero moments. But I tell you what, PA, his play in the clutch in the playoffs has been stellar, and he's making the right decisions. It doesn't always have to be him going one-on-one. And Jim Peterson brought this up in the fourth quarter. He hit those 2 threes to begin the fourth, and the Wolves are down by 10. So you needed those threes, but we immediately said, hey, Ant can't get into the mode where he's going to try to lead this team back. It's not going to be a 1-on-5 type of thing. And I thought Ant read that fourth quarter perfectly. He took what the defense got him, hit big shots, but also set guys up, including that play I talked about where he got the hockey assist on. That might have been his best play, and it didn't involve him, even showing up on the score sheet on that particular play.
My man, call a good one tonight. Safe travels back, and we greatly appreciate you. Thank you, Alan.
PA, you got it. Anytime, man.
Appreciate you. Alan Horton, Radio Vox, for, I believe, 18 years for the vast and ever-expanding Minnesota Timberwolves radio network, where the game tonight's on KFAN. Game 5 from Los Angeles could be closing time for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Very curious to see what Luka Doncic and LeBron together, how the ball sharing goes tonight with all this pressure on them. How much do they care about that? The guess would be a lot. And you know what? If the Wolves are up on the Lakers relatively late, and it's actually like a 7, 9, 11, 12-point game, just to see what Luka's punchback is, because when he got in those situations in the NBA Finals last year, he cowered. And there was no punchback. So, I said it earlier in the series, and at times it's right, at times it's wrong. I probably got a little too loud about it, but Luka has some front runner to him. And, tonight is a night. If they're playing, LeBron's one of the 2 greatest in the history of the game. So he's out of the chat, as the kids would say. But with Luka, it's these situations can be fleeting. And this is by far the most pressure Luka has had on him with this team. He's at home. He'll have the crowd on his side. Hockey fans would say Reddick gets last change. But it's just been shown several times. If you punch Luka, and if he needs to rally the squad from behind and do a lot of it on his own, it's not happening. And in fact, it goes the other way, and it goes the other way in a hurry. Just ask Jason Tatum and the Boston Celtics last year. So that's 9:00 on KFAN. That segment was our marathon segment, courtesy of Steve's Appliances. The customer appreciation events begin tomorrow. It's tomorrow and Friday, beginning at 11 a.m. And go to the website, stevesappliances.com. We really want you to sign up for an opportunity to win a $3,000 GE kitchen set. There'll be barbecues. Myself and Ben Gessling from the Star Tribune, we're stopping by Friday about 12:45. But a lot of great things happening at Steve's Appliances. The customer appreciation events are tomorrow and Friday, beginning at 11 a.m. All right, second part of the equation. Your talkbacks. Let's finish the radio show. Enough of me, okay, and enough of beloved Double B. Your thoughts on how the Wild lost last night, and what do you expect tomorrow? Wild talkbacks, please. Also, with the Timberwolves, do you feel a closeout tonight? And why? And you can end those talkbacks with a howl anytime. Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah, general manager for the Vikings, spent 30 minutes with us here at Twin Cities Orthopedics Performance Center. And a little bit of the chat was about Vikings quarterback J.J. McCarthy. Anything Vikings related anytime is accepted via the talkback machine. But, for the purpose of the timeliness of these 3 teams, taking place right now, and go crazy Byron Buxton. Twins won again last night. But the Wild and the emotional wherewithal, the taxing emotional loss for the players and coaches last night. Vox in the Box tomorrow from Tria in St. Paul. Make sure you find that when we rise and shine at 9. But your thoughts on last night and some of those magnifying moments that dictated how Game 5 would go to the Las Vegas Golden Knights. Free iHeartRadio app. Find the microphone, KFAN, and that little microphone. You have up to 30 seconds to share whatever you would like to share. But over the final 30 minutes of the show, we're going to play back a bunch of those talkbacks. Meanwhile, Brett Blakemore has some money to give away.
I do. The Fan and BigDeck.com want to give you a shot to win bonus bucks with our national cash contest. Head to KFAN.com. Enter the keyword bills. The keyword is bills. KFAN.com. Keyword bills.
Time is precious, and so are our pets. So time with our pets is extra precious. That's why we started Dutch. Dutch provides 24/7 access to licensed vets with unlimited virtual visits and follow-ups for up to 5 pets. You can message a vet at any time and schedule a video visit the same day. Our vets can even prescribe medication for many ailments, and shipping is always free. With Dutch, you'll get more time with your pets and year-round peace of mind when it comes to their vet care.
Your talkbacks next. Game 5 is another late one, and Carboni's has what you need to fuel you late into the night. Visit one of their 30-plus locations to enjoy delicious pizza and get ready for the Minnesota playoff run. Find your nearest Carboni's today at carbonispizza.com.
Wait a second. So we get a reprieve tomorrow. Old people get a reprieve, I think, Double B. You're not an old person, but I am. Vegas and Minnesota, it's a 6:30 puck drop, isn't it?
How about that?
Is it 6:30? Or is that when Fallness begins a pregame show that used to be 15 minutes, and then now it'll be 30 minutes because of the playoffs, and the puck drop will really be 7:20?
Well, I've got 6:30, but that could probably be 6:45. But the scheduled time, the published time is 6:30.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. And Wolves probably, let's see, the first game tonight, 6:30. And you got that extended halftime show for basketball. So, yeah, I think probably 9:10, 9:15, maybe 9:10-ish tonight for the Wolves.
Yeah, you get a real reprieve from the Wolves because they're going to win tonight, and then you won't have to stay up. They're waiting for the second-round matchup.
Put your right thumb to the side of the mouse and your right index finger on the left click. Find Murmur. And hit it.
I was not ready. Hang on.
Wait a second. Double B with an over-the-top slam dunk basketball take. Hey! Where'd that come from?
I just felt like being positive for a change. So
I think the Timberwolves are going to win tonight. I couldn't get a hold of a prediction last night. I mean, if I was betting the game last night, I would have bet the Wild because of the plus. It ended up being like plus 180 or something. And I thought it was, like I said yesterday, kind of a 56-44 of Vegas Golden Knights equation. It's we're not going homerific here, man. But I mean, in those middle games, 2 and 3. It can't be disputed, 2 and 3, and then parts of 4, but 2 and 3, it can't be disputed. I think the Wild outscored them, 10-3, something like that. I mean, the Wild tilted the ice dramatically against those guys for long patches of time. So I thought the better team, like I said, lost game number 4. That's kind of a tough thing to say in hockey, though, because hockey is so nuanced with so many little things because of the shape of the puck, and you got people on skates, and they're playing 45 seconds, and then if they play a minute, they're gassed, and somebody gets around them with all the changes that take place during the game. I ride discernment on this, and I felt the Wild had kind of outplayed Las Vegas, specifically Gus and Aiden Hill, and that situation. Into last night, but I got a lot of respect for all the shots Eichel and Stone started to take in game 4. Eichel found his feet last night, man. I mean, Jack Eichel, most of the game, don't you think he was terrific?
Yeah, I thought he was really good. Set up, couple of the goals. Yeah, he's a really, really good player. I agree.
All right, so it's 11:38. Let's roll with the talkbacks and see what is on the minds of Rube Nation.
Well, it seems like one thing continues to be on the mind of Rube Nation. I'm going to play a couple back-to-back here.
PA, this is BC from Minneapolis, lifetime hockey player and coach. Here's all you need to know about the Nyquist situation. Every hockey player in every country across the world is taught from a young age, if you're approaching the blue line on an odd man rush situation and there's a chance of going offsides, you drag your foot. That was an absolutely inexcusable mistake by Nyquist.
Yeah.
We need a hat trick out of him on Thursday night.
Here's another one.
Hines won't throw anybody under the bus, but you know that the talkbacks and the text line will. A lot of that game, I would put on Nyquist. Don't drag the foot.
Yeah.
Even being close in that scenario, it's pretty inexcusable, especially for a veteran. And Nyquist has done quite literally zero in his between his 2 stints with the Minnesota Wild. The rest of the blame I'm going to have to put on Hines for even putting Merrill in the lineup. He shouldn't have been out there in OT anyways.
I mean, that's box. So I'm not. I played football, up through junior college. Likewise for basketball, and I played baseball till my junior year of high school. I've never played hockey. I mean, I can skate, big deal, and I've watched a lot of it, bigger deal, right? But I mean, I've never played it. So there's part of the nuance of like, when I'm talking to Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah, basketball people, about an offensive play called passing game, where you got 2 wing guys, 2 box guys, you pick down, flash into the key, come back out. If the wing option is closed, you get a backdoor pick box to box. That's option number 2. And if that doesn't work, then you call a timeout. So therefore I can get into certain games and talk about it like that and feel really comfortable with knowing what I'm talking about. That I've just heard too much from my deeply rooted within my hockey covenant. My friends and people like that who aren't going to leave talkbacks. They're not going to text 64686. They're not coming on the radio. But I respect their opinions. I mean, some of them played the game. And this toe drag situation that we're talking about, you brought it up earlier. My friend Lonnie Anderson, the package handler, has been all over me about it this morning. Everybody's right. They're right on this. Absolutely. And I was like, it lacks self-awareness to not know that, but things are going incredibly fast. I don't want that to be forgotten. So in a world where I guess we need to identify the very best and the very worst, what was the single worst moment in that game? And I was like, for me, it was when Merrill lost Howden and Vegas won the game. I mean, I have a right to look at that and say that was the final moment. But for those to say it never should have happened, I don't think that's completely fair. And here's why. Again, because of the speed of the game, and it was a boneheaded play by Nyquist. Nobody's defending that. But there still was a minute and change for Vegas to go with the extra guy and score a goal. So let's not forget that. That chance at least was there. So the Nyquist situation, has everybody all frustrated and flustered right now. And I understand that. It has me flustered too, man. I hated it. It sucked, for sure. That's why the therapeutic Davenport of love was delivered to Twin Cities Orthopedics Performance Center so I could lay on it between segments. So, maybe in this situation, everybody can be right at the same time.
Let's go here.
Hey, guys. Great show. I just had a question mostly about John Hines' playoff record as a coach. I believe, thinking back to when he was hired, there was a little hesitancy based on his poor record in the playoffs. I think with the Predators, he was 2-8 in the playoffs. And going back to Brett's, just his questions about the decisions that were made in the game last night, if this has anything to do with his prior postseason
history.
That's an interesting take. What do you think about that, Double B? Because you know more about his playoff experiences in other places. I feel I don't like to second guess a lot, but I think you've been very fair with some things that you've laid out with some decisions that have been made. The reasoning that has been shared publicly as to why they were made, and now subsequently some of the results were a massive result last night with the blue liner, but nevertheless some of the results that are bearing fruit. So I think you've been fair with that, man. So like, what do you think about what he just said?
Yeah, I mean, it's not to say that every decision that he's made has been just terrible, and I do think he is a pretty good coach as far as. I didn't like the idea of putting Boldy and Kaprizov together because I thought you needed to spread the love and spread the scoring. That's been a masterstroke. It's been great because that line has been firing on all cylinders. So it's not like every decision he's made, but I can list off a handful of them from last night that were directly caused by decisions he made that ended up shooting the Wild in the skates. So right. It's annoying, and yeah, it is a concern. And as we know, NHL coaching is just a fraternity, basically, where no one gets in, and if you get fired, you get a new job within a couple months, and they just keep rotating around like musical chairs. So no matter what your record is, because you know a guy who knows a guy. So do I think he's a terrible coach? No. Do I think that the playoff record could be a talker, especially if they lose again Game 6 at home? I do think it's something at least we could talk about.
Let's roll with some more talkbacks in the final segment. You're listening to KFAN.
Time is precious, and so are our pets. So time with our pets is extra precious. That's why we started Dutch. Dutch provides 24/7 access to licensed vets with unlimited virtual visits and follow-ups for up to 5 pets. You can message a vet at any time and schedule a video visit the same day. Our vets can even prescribe medication for many ailments, and shipping is always free. With Dutch, you'll get more time with your pets and year-round peace of mind when it comes to their vet care.
AM. Talkbacks to finish. We want to get in as many as we can because people were super kind to leave those talkbacks at the free iHeartRadio app, and man, we got a million. So we apologize if we didn't get to yours. 9 to noon is getting better with this entire equation. So let's continue. Go ahead.
Well, let's go here. We've been mostly playing the annoyed and having the Davenport of comfort and so on, but we are the love covenant. So here's a handful the other way.
Frustrating night for sure. We can sit here and nitpick it all we want because that's what we do, but it's still a winnable series. Even the overtime games, very winnable from the perspective of the Wild. We got this. Let's go. Game 6 is ours. Bring it back to Vegas. Let's win it in 7. Here we go.
Here's another one.
Hold on quickly. Okay, I agree, but it can't be denied coming off back-to-back overtime losses, and specifically what I saw with some of the players last night. Brock Faber, again, I'll say it again. If you watch the post-game and his interview with Kevin Gorg, I can't say I've ever seen anything like that. He was shell-shocked. Getting sentences out was tough. He was so stunned by what had just happened 10, 15 minutes previous. So that they got to overcome that. That's fair because human nature gets to win too. And I think that's going to play into the Lakers-Wolves tonight too, where if the Wolves can punch them and can get them to think about the offseason, I think this Lakers group will. Human nature gets to win too. Go ahead.
Here's another one. Exactly what I was talking about in the abbreviated breakaways segment.
Hey, PA, Trevor in Denver. Let me just be a purveyor of positivity today. This core, the way they're playing right now, with $14 million in dead cap, has to give you a lot of hope for next year when they got a little more money to spend and add a few more depth pieces. Let's go.
And Brett brought that up during breakaways, truncated as it was. I attempted to amplify it by saying, with what I'm watching, if I'm a potential free agent and this team has the right cash, I'd want to play for this team. And there are myriad reasons I'd want to play for this team. So I agree. I think that was Trevor. Thank you very much. Any more?
Yeah, I'm just so ready for that to stop being a talker, and finally stop talking about it. And next year, thankfully, it'll be over. Let's do this.
Hey, PA, this is Ryan in Columbia Heights. All that's been coming to my mind right now is all the negativity in this town sucks.
Allie.
People are talking like the Wild have been eliminated. It's still a series. Win the game at home, send it to Game 7, and let's go. Let's go Wild. Let's go Wolves, baby. Ow!
I'm with you on all that. And, we have the Wolves tonight on KFAN shortly after 9. The Wild shortly after 6:30 tomorrow night on KFAN. Tomorrow, 9 to noon, is at Tria in St. Paul for the Wild Morning Skate. In the business, we call it Vox in the Box, and really, really excited to be there tomorrow. John Hines, coach of the Wild, will join 9 to noon at some point tomorrow. We've received confirmation on that, plus much more coming your way, including some celebration. If the Minnesota Timberwolves can close out the Lakers tonight, the getting's good right now, 9 to noon. Brett Blakemore produces, and I'm Paul Allen. Thank you very much for listening to FM 100.3 KFAN. The program with Dan Cole, the Common Man, is next. Bye-bye.
The season can't end like that. Good
Podcast today's Paul Allen Show, or listen back to previous show and interviews by going to the iHeartRadio app or KFAN.com.
Time is precious, and so are our pets. So time with our pets is extra precious. That's why we started Dutch. Dutch provides 24/7 access to licensed vets with unlimited virtual visits and follow-ups for up to 5 pets. You can message a vet at any time and schedule a video visit the same day. Our vets can even prescribe medication for many ailments, and shipping is always free. With Dutch, you'll get more time with your pets and year-round peace of mind when it comes to their vet care.